Welcome back to the Essentials.tf stream. Welcome to Insomnia. It's I71, and it's still sponsored by TradeTech and by Marketplace.tf. This time I'm joined with a new caster.
Hello.
Welcome in, Bum. How are we doing, Bum?
I'm doing very nice. I've recovered from the morning.
All right.
Been bright lights, there's been loud music, and it was rough, but we've made it through. I'm refreshed. I'm ready for some more games.
Yeah, back into the thrill of it, and back to more bright lights, loud music. But hopefully, it's just as loud games. We are continuing our coverage of the round robin, the group stages, part of our I71 Open tournament. It is going to be our choosing, and our choosing has been McVities HobNobs versus K's Good Cooking. I just love their cooking. I
love their cooking too, and it's our first bagel game.
Oh
I'm
my
excited
God,
to see.
variety.
Just had to install it onto the computer to actually make sure we could connect. But looks like both teams are fighting to be on the same side, so we might have a funny heavy fist fight to watch as well.
Oh, well, you don't really see that nowadays. I don't think there's really much of a difference on the map,
There's
is
no
there?
difference at all.
I mean,
it's not like Viaduct where you want...
Literally brand awareness.
Yeah.
I don't know, McVities have a blue background. K's Good Cooking, I've always seen them play blue, so maybe it's just a calming colour.
They also have the blue jerseys as
well.
they
have the blue jerseys,
it would make sense for them to just, they've sorted themselves out.
This is why most teams have an away kit, when
exactly.
when they switch things out in football. But, I mean, talk to me about Bagel. Obviously, it's the first time we're seeing this map on the stream. And, we've got a video tutorial about, how to play TF2 for the first time. We should probably tell them how to play Bagel for the first time.
I mean, to play Bagel for the first time, you are always touching the point and trying to block /cap / stop the other team capping. It's just your toes are always across the line on point, and then you play Koth.
Yeah, and there's two houses as well.
Yeah.
There's two bases, I guess you could have within the game, and you got both of the Roman soldiers, both of the soldiers kind of fighting it off, duke it off, but they're also stepping, well, maybe not stepping, they're shooting at the point. So it is a vicious game of seesaw, like you said. And, it's our new kind of brand of map coming from America. God bless. As, what do you think to the map? Fan?
I'm a fan of it. I quite enjoy Bagel, but I don't know. I've never really played it myself properly. It's past my era, but I don't
welcome
mind
to my
TF2,
where you have opinions on things and you have nothing to back it up with. It's a fine world. It's a fine world. I mean, from the spectator side of things, it looks like a very different map to Product, which is nice to have variety in that game mode. Before it used to be DM map, and then worse version of DM map.
Yes, it's definitely better than Clear Cut, I think. We can safely say after trying that out. The one thing that annoys me is I don't like that there's a jump pad. That's not TF2 to me. That should be a staircase or a ramp or something.
I think it's
I'm
whimsical.
not a fan of
it's not in your face. It's not
too
like it's shooting you in the middle of
me.
the earth and all this stuff like that. It's just quiet little side piece off to the side. Speaking of jump pads, we're jumping straight into the game. Join us here on CP Bagel. It's K's Good Cooking and McVities Grandstanding HobNobs. I don't know what's more delicious.
Yeah, so many food-based names at this line.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. If you're just joining us, this is the continued round robin coverage. And already I'm seeing on mid is Bagel gameplay. Nobody jumping, nobody going. Everyone just setting off their territory and seeing who can get into a house first.
Yep, Lord Jr. jumping in through on the flank does get some damage in, but seems, both teams, neither of them actually bombing across the point. Whip has just taken down Cat in the right side house, so there is a frag on the board for McVities, and they're starting to play the point a bit more aggressively now. Control of both houses, and they just able to cap that up immediately. Temerain and Solar both going down as well.
Yeah, I think they were just throwing some opposing lines into there. Oh, actually, a nice little clean-up coming out from Whip. Just trying to get the remnants of that K's Good Cooking team. I mean, they've got 100% Uber, and, Good Cooking does not. It is a long time to build that back up there. But in the meantime, you could probably throw some people here and there from K's Good Cooking into the jugular of HobNobs.
Yeah, we've got the classic forward hold set up, the demo watching off the lower door. Tok has just managed to break all the way through, and there's a free bomb managing to land on the medic and get another big advantage for McVities to take down the medic.
Yeah, that's the... I can see it. You want to eat your cake and have it too, because you want the buffs from the medic, but the more you bring them to that front line, the more likely these situations happen. So very nice punishment coming out of McVities there. They're going to keep singing their 100% Uber all the way to the home.
Yep, and there's an attempt to repush back towards the point with this full advantage. They could try and catch Temrain once again with the Uber. They do have to pop it off quite far from the point. They've got quite a way to go in terms of getting actually forwards and get some frags with the Uber. They've in fact lost Zeno during the Uber. They've got a grand total of -1 frags with the Uber, and then they wipe afterwards as well, the whole combo.
I don't think it could get any worse even if they tried. I think they're going to even come out of it completely unscathed and scratched. Whip 1 HP Warrior, not quite enough there. If they could just get on top of that medic, or just get on top of anyone, but they just couldn't find the damage. It was just spread too evenly amongst the entire McVities lineup.
Yeah, they just used that Uber off too early and they could not find anything. Law in with a bomb behind as well, takes down Swayze. Neither team able to get out of this forward hold without losing their medic. The soldiers are too sneaky with it at the moment.
My God, there's just chaos happening everywhere around the map, because every time one Dominoes falls, the other Dominoes start to push in from the other side of the map. They're even throwing Zeno into the mix, trying to get on top of Temrain, but his scouts have got his back, got him covered, and he's got that Uber.
Yep, K's Good Cooking looking good at the moment, ready to take that lead back. Bit of time off for McVities, but now with the advantage, we've pretty much seen both teams have exactly the same situations back to back either way, so it's an advantage this time for Temrain. Let's see if they have a better Uber when they try to utilize it than McVities did. There's a bomb in behind from the soldier. That's Whip landing onto the med, pops Temrain up in the air, and the force is out as they sack 3 more players. Da Pascal is the only one left alive in the flank. He's gonna manage to get out, so that is a decent force, but they've lost a lot of ground for it. They need to be able to bust out of this forward hold quickly.
Yeah, it was a very safe pop, let's just say, coming out from Temrain. But there was some sync coming out from McVities. Sometimes you just have to read the writing on the wall and see that it's going to come out. Why not come out just a bit healthier?
Whip with a very fast skip jump lands in Solar's face, takes down that all-important demo kill, and then that's Swayze able to just take the point, probably without even using this Uber. Law is taking this 1v1 on the flank, and he will win it, but the cap has gone the way of McVities, and they still have that advantage as well. If K's Good Cooking try and push in now, they'll be meeting some shiny players, but Deer does get a frag onto Zeno in the meantime, and the soldier bomb from McVities is going to be unsuccessful as well. They're kind of throwing all their players away despite having the advantage, and now the Uber comes out. They do get the medic in time. Temrain only on 80%, playing a bit too close.
Yeah, but there's not many combat classes left. If they all pile on top of them now, and there we are, the following dogpile does ensue. If you see who's left standing, it's going to be, I think, K's Good Cooking.
Yep, in control of the point, in control of the Uber situation, or at least they would be if someone was picking their medic up, but it's going to end up dead even in the end anyway. Dead even on time, dead even on Ubers, and with the last spawner, we're dead even on players as well. So K's Good Cooking in control of the point for now, but Shadow and Zeno both pushing across, putting a lot of damage out into the enemy demo.
Yeah, I'm seeing that McVities really prioritize constant point pressure compared to K's Good Cooking. Or K's Good Cooking, I feel like, are just pulling off a little less mistakes when it comes to like Uber charges and what to do with them. So it's really pick your poison here.
Yeah, and MCV have snuck the point away from under their toes again. They just pretty much for free capture that up, and now it's their timer running down instead. So we need to see if K's Good Cooking can be just as good at permanently just playing this point and being able to take it out.
They have the Uber charge now. Will they be aware of this little advantage in their back pocket? I've not seen them really go aggressive with the Uber so far. It's always just been used defensively. Speaking of, they pop it now to keep Solo alive, but there's nobody really on the chopping. Oh, excuse me, Zeno was on the chopping block and managed to get cleaned up. And the Scout, he's still manning up. He's going back in. Whip brought down to minuscule health. The Scout is still healthy and, you know, humoring the idea of it.
And Temrain got caught in at the end of that Uber, got body blocked and could not leave. They've dropped the demo though, Whip, of getting taken down by Solar there, and now they are trying to push back on towards the point. Swayze with the advantage, uses it off, they bomb forwards. Zeno able to find that frag onto Tok, and crucially they get the point. There's 12 seconds left for both teams now, Turbo.
Yeah,
they both need to be playing this point.
They need to try and get out of this doorway. They can't stay in the lobby. They managed to get out of this left-hand side. It's going to be just a regular push coming out for both these teams. No Uber charges in the equation. It's gone into overtime for McVities, but it's very likely if they can get the clean wipe against McVities here with their despawns, they're likely going to take the map, and it looks like it will be a McVities down for now, and it's a long road to get to that mid again. You'll have time for Pascal to get there, and maybe one soldier, Zeno taken out. It's 2 scouts versus 1. Pascal just trying to keep it going, but K's good cooking is just something else.
Yeah, it's the timing at the end that really matters, and both meds going down in that last fight. Maybe there was an opportunity for McVities to get back in with all that damage being permanent. The medics wouldn't have spawned in time for either team, but they don't manage to get onto the point in the end. K's good cooking sneaking away that first round in a very, very close affair.
Yeah, I like the decisions coming out of McVities. It's just the execution is just falling ever so slightly, while K's good cooking are just, they're playing a lot more safe, a lot more kind of like simple TF2, but it's working, and the less risks makes less mistakes.
Yeah, and now McVities looking comfortable to take this first mid fight again. They've won 2 out of 2 now, or I might be getting ahead of myself, but Lord Junior does throw his life away on the flank, and MCV still seem in control of the point, but saying that, Shadow does get chased off by Deer. Now Whip going down on the side house. There's a soldier bomb in from behind onto Swayze. Has missed every rocket, but still has time to load some more. This soldier's not getting killed.
Oh, it does get the health back in time, so Uber charges won't be out for McVities, so they can probably keep making an attempt of a repush here. That does mean the time will start ticking away for good cooking to kind of give them that initial advantage.
Yep, and McVities instantly coming back to play the point, trying to bait someone in to take the trade across the point. There's a lot of damage onto the soldiers in both houses. Whip is in fact just going to go down.
Oh, they get the demo man though over on McVities, and the Shadow gets a bonus sort of scout kill. Nobody's defending poor Temrim because his front line was just taken out by 1 scout.
Yep, and Cat does get the force onto Swayze as well in the meantime. Everyone was kind of so focused on going forwards with McVities that they forgot all about the flank, ended up getting forced off. So Uber's out of the equation for both teams once again. McVities in control of the point.
No forward hold, so it does allow K's good cooking to get a good foothold back onto the point, and we're going to try and start fishing for any sort of little weakness coming out of it. Usually you'll find it in these house areas. Swayze actually brought down pretty low. I don't know how that can come about, but this maybe gives opportunity for these soldiers to kind of come in and dip their toes into the front line. Nobody's going for a big hero jump so far, and I think that's probably the best way to kind of play these points. Weakness coming out from Blobchat will go down, and with this should give some confidence to K's good cooking to keep pressing here.
And they just want to go with the Uber immediately. They're running this in, and there's a very, very small advantage, but Swayze's going to get it in time, uses off the Uber, and then Shadow will clean up Cat. They are going to try and chase this forwards.
They are getting out, backing up successfully, not really having to take the brunt of Shadow's Uber. So they just lose a bit of point time, but it's just come back down to a sort of shadow boxing kind of front line fighting. You know, who can just kind of focus target first.
Yeah, and with that, McVities are back in control of the point, and Cat once again jumping up onto the little side patio bit here, spamming people off the point. It's just so critical to get people off from touching the point in this map. You want to be controlling the side rooms just so you can spam onto the point, essentially.
Cat goes down, and this has got to breathe a sigh of relief for McVities. You just need to hold the line here. You just hold that point from a distance, but it seems like poor Blobchat did not get the memo. Oh no, Temrain going down. Well, not quite going down. Whip doesn't quite find the finish onto Temrain. Has to pop off that Uber, but it's all good in the eyes of Swayze. He's going to have his Uber charged just about now.
Yep, and this should be an inevitable point recap. We'll see what K's tried to do about it. They've taken Shadow down very low. All of this delay is good, actually, and putting this damage in, making Swayze split the heals, making Swayze delay the Uber.
They don't dare use the Uber.
Yeah.
They only want to use it defensively. I think they will feel really burned from that first time when they used the Uber aggressively, Bomb.
Yeah, they're just K's good cooking, doing such good work, damaging each player just consecutively, making someone else for Swayze to have to bow, then pull the bow out again. There's no time to actually use the Uber in between it. Shadow takes down that frag nice and easily on the flank as well. So McVities back in control again, but it was a very nice try from K's good cooking to to try and make that Uber as worthless as possible, but in the end it did do very well.
Yeah, really a kind of damning sort of situation they had, but it's they've made lemonade out of lemons, and I mean, can they just strike again now that they have actually even Stevens amongst us? Shadow goes down to the double scout chariot, and they're just rocking with it. These scouts seem to be gobbling up most of the McVities in comparison to the others.
Yeah, and McVities, they get the point stolen from them once again by K's Good Cooking, and we'll just be waiting for their spawners to get back to the fight. Solar still rolling out, so no Demo Man for now makes it a bit tricky to hold on to that point. As you can see, all 3 players from McVities just standing on it and taking it for free there in the fight.
Constant pressure from McVities, though. If you notice just how much they touch the point and just claim it back cheekily, and then you can see the little difference power. Look at these seconds being plinked away here. It's got to really force K's Good Cooking to make some bad decisions eventually.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how well you're playing on the point, even when the point isn't owned, it's still someone else's timer being ticked down, so McVitie's always getting the edge in that regard, you're right, and then the Uber trade is out on point. Looks like K's are going to be able to take this here. They have the frag disadvantage, but everyone from McVitie's was just so damaged that they didn't want to fight it.
I like this play here. You notice they gave up the point to K's Good Cooking. So any sort of frag that's made on K's Good Cooking now is going to hurt really in comparison to McVitie's, because they'll get those players just as a bit quicker in comparison. And if they just need to cap back that point once in 1 minute, very possible.
Yep, it's just cap and win now for McVitie's, but they're slowly and steadily losing this fight. They've just been dribbling players bit by bit, and now Shadow and Blobchap just trying to play this point, make this last push to get the cap off. They're doing so much damage, trying to force these players off, but Solar's still on it.
The frags are still coming in slowly but surely. It's a game of resources here.
Uber's up first for Temrain.
And it has to hold the line. There's nobody there to really kind of follow up on the point. They pop off Uber, but there's not enough souls left. If they all just coordinate now, I think, on what McVitie's, they should get this point. But they're losing frags already and coming into this. They pop onto point now, not focusing the medic, not so much the point. They just need to cap it, and they will. 1 round on the board for McVitie's.
Yep, just winning it out right at the end there with that force. Temrain had pretty much just got the Uber in time and got forced off, and Swayze did a disappearing act, nowhere to be seen, held on to that 80% and comes back in. And that point, you've just got an Uber versus a team that doesn't have an Uber, and that makes it pretty easy to win a fight.
I very much like the idea where they just gave up that point. Really puts a lot of pressure over on K's Good Cooking. So we're into a new round, a new dawn, a new day, and I think they're finding their groove over on McVitie's a bit more. They've made their adjustment. I mean, it seems like kind of a wild adjustment to me, where it's like, we will not go aggressive with the Uber, but it's working, and what can I complain if it works?
Yep, Whip unable to find Temrain with the bomb there, but doing enough damage to at least force them out of mid and get that first capture going. Swayze and Temrain both living as well throughout the entire duration of the fight. So Ubers are roughly even, but K's do manage to sneak the point away in time just before that scout got in to block it.
Yeah, it's all really down to these demo men and how well they can punish these sorts of little capping players. The point is designed almost to just feature the demo man in his damage output against anybody who's kind of sheepishly capping the point. The flank, though, will do some sort of moves of their own. Or actually winning 2 moves. I've never seen somebody double dip into a flank before like that.
Yeah, Whip just 1v2ing both soldiers and now has the flank of a lifetime, able to just shoot into the back of Temrain, get that force off. Temrain has to use the Uber. Swayze gets a better one.
Oh no, they're chasing the demo man with this. It's a scout meta and it feels good, even on LAN, as they will... Oh, nice little rocket coming out from Cat, though. You know, moral victory.
Yeah, we'll see if the forward hold is as successful as it has been for both teams. They've been kind of letting them through the forward holds, not really holding it tightly, but then ending up bombing for the medic as they fail to bait their team successfully enough. Bait the patience, the lack of patience rather, for the medics has been what's messed up the forward hold, but it seems like McVitie's just gave up the forward holds entirely this time, and they might be a bit too passive. There's a lot of cap time on point. You don't want to just give it to Deer for free, and he will get it.
I mean, they don't really have Uber charge just yet. I think it's that kind of call out where you're like, don't lose the Uber. We just we want the Uber, and then we'll crush them, I'm sure. So a lot of owners to see what they could do with this little Uber advantage now. They should be aware of it, Bum.
Yeah, and they do use off, and Temrain should be caught. The Demo Man and Scout both comboing up and managing to get that frag. They've found frags all over the map as well for McVities. Cat just throwing themselves in, trying to find anything possible, but this seems clean for McVities. They're 6 alive, and Ks are 0.
Completely blindsided by that Uber. It makes me almost wonder if they weren't aware that that advantage was going to come out against them, or if they just really didn't have the respect for the Uber, because, I mean, it failed once, but now they're getting a bit more confidence as the game goes on here. But
yeah, and just as we were saying before, Blobchaps has gotten for the pre-fire bomb, and yeah, Blob and Whip just both get behind. They find the medic for free during the forward hold, and now they can prolong this advantage that they have.
Yeah, you'd think it would be quite a McVities-centered game, but they've only just kind of brought it to even Stevens on the timer itself. So maybe still gas in the tank here. 4K is good cooking, but with 100% Uber, what is the play? Do you just suicide in, or do you still keep slow pushing it and hoping that their pushes don't work out with the Uber?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they've been prone to Sackwave at all so far. They just keep trying to take these fights with disadvantage.
Okay.
And the Uber is out.
Going
will
aggressive.
They get caught again? It looks like they will. Oh, Temrain's so low, but does manage to escape. Cat will be going down at the end, and Solar, but at least they got their medic out.
I mean, you could call this a suicide wave in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, you forced out the enemy medic, and you managed to get your most important piece out. And they're actually human the idea of pushing back in without Solar into this fight. Could be a bit risky because they've got no Uber charge. If anybody gets on Temrain now where he's most vulnerable, it's I think he's down. He's Curtains. Speaking of Curtains, it's been shot here for Deer.
Yeah, Deer catches that long-range pipe from Xeno, but they do get the point in the meantime and still have a small advantage. We've seen McVities very keen to use these, but K's not quite. Oh, and the call is bad. It's a absolutely terrible Uber so far from anyone. It seemed like there was a bit of hesitation there between the players. They didn't know what they wanted to do with it, and the Uber finds absolutely nothing. It's just thrown down the drain.
Yeah, they're all defensive Ubers for K's cooking, and what's worse is they're also tagged when the Uber finally comes out for them, that in a post-Uber fight, they're just as bad as they were before it.
Yeah, that seemed like the classic Med has just pressed S as the scout wants to go forward, and then you panic like, oh,
and you can't reach him anymore.
Yeah, and then you can't
unlatched.
reach him, and then you have to latch back on. And
My
then the scout
chariot
can't
is
reach
without a
anyone.
horse.
Yeah, exactly. But that does, of course, leave McVities back in control of the point and looking confident with Swayze with the big advantage, edging ever closer over the point.
Coming in. Excuse me, pardon me. I've got a good word for you, Temrain. Temrain, though, managed to get out, but God, they throw every single human being in front of Temrain to keep him alive. And the ironic part of TF2, it's got no one left to heal.
Yeah, the 5-man meat shield is not ideal. Leaves the medic with nothing to do and cannot 1v6 Ubersaw their way into capping mid somehow, Turbo.
2 rounds. It must feel good for morale. You lose out on your first round and you might think this is slipping away from you, but the confidence has come back. Not many teams can do that, Bum, and I'm going to give some credit to McVities.
Yeah, this could be a game with some meaning as well for getting into playoffs on day 2. I haven't actually been keeping up with the group standings, but these teams seem very even and they seem on the better side of the, I guess, lower teams, so...
Oh, Xeno being taken out here. They do have Solar still kicking for good case, good cooking, so they should play that blob game a lot more if they want to kind of win this out. And it doesn't sway McVities to get out complete. Now they get out. Now that Case Good Cooking kind of demonstrate that we are the bigger team right now. Get out of my stinking point as they push them out of the door. Recommit in from Whip.
Oh,
nice rockets from Whip with Temrain going down. There's only one objective on the mind of McVities. Keep Swayze alive and then maybe get that point.
But here comes everyone to stop that from happening. Swayze does have to force it off eventually with 3 people on their case.
I mean, Swayze was safe, but that man was like, my team will not die around me. He came back out for the boys.
Well, at least McVities are back in a forward hold position after losing off that force. We'll see if Blob and Whip can wreak their havoc that they've been doing so consistently, getting in behind while the team pushes out of this.
Yeah, they should know they're pushing in from that lobby
Blob's
area
in behind
now.
again. Blob has a free medic in front of him.
How do they not see that coming? There's like an entire doorway they just block. Is there an invisible secret passage there? They just don't think is there.
But it's ended up in a 2v2. Xeno's just on the respawn, and K's Good Cooking should be able to take mid here. Cat is being focused down on the flank. Tok is going to capture up mid in the meantime.
It's some scared TF2 though. Everyone's without a medic, so they're just getting tagged. Nobody wants to commit round a corner in case they just get fished by a random rocket. And I mean, credit to K's Good Cooking. They actually come out of that forward hold with, you know, pretty much much better standard results I expected.
Yeah, there's a sack in from Cat. Doesn't find the medic, but they do find a scout frag for it in the meantime.
Yeah, and I think it's actually changed the other way now. K's Good Cooking are now showing a lot more sort of on-point presence than McVities are. And McVities are actually getting better with the Rubo. Kind of a strange sort of turn of events for these two gamers developers.
Tiny advantage for Temerain. Deer goes down on the point though, eats a bunch of spam at the same time. And I guess they're not too worried about this. They're still in control of the point. They can trade to delay it ever longer, and they do actually have to use off first.
Aggressive.
Uber.
They get Xeno dropped. That's advantage here, and they feel like they're strong for it, but Solo sticks around for too long. He doesn't quite calculate how long an overcharge lasts on a single scout. Will go down for it, so what was looking good for K's Good Cooking was just thrown away.
Yeah, but at least Whip brings them back in the Uber so that it gets capped up, but it was a very quick refrag to take him down and then push back on towards the point, so there is not much time taken off in the end for McVities. They had that point for all of about 10 seconds, and then K's Good Cooking straight back into the driving seat.
Yeah, McVities trying to gain control of this house is so difficult. Actually throwing in soldiers, getting a bit more loosey-goosey with our defensive perimeter now. We're just literally throwing people in at this point here.
Yeah, Whip just jumped in behind, and Temerain walked into both of the Whip rockets, just not looking at him, and that changes everything in this fight. Just no medic immediately puts McVities in with the advantage, not only in that fight, but in the next, as the Ubercharge is up for Swayze and nothing for Temerain. Are they going to go with a deep one? They're running it straight into spawn.
Popping it right early, and they saw a beam, so there is a chance. But look at that scout taxi. Boop, boop. 5 stars Uber.
Yeah, a bit overzealous, I think, with that one. It's just too difficult to get into spawn. It's so safe.
You need one of those like mirrors that look around the corner and see the medic is there.
Yeah, so McVities, they throw away the advantage a little bit, but Whip and Blob are doing what they do best in enemy lobby, and they are just
meat grinding
them, exactly.
Do they not know that doorway exists? Do they not know that soldiers like to congregate there? Maybe just throw like a pipe or something? I don't know.
That's the tricky thing about trying to break the forward hold from that side, is you have to clear hard left and hard right, and you can just be pincered between the two soldiers. Blob does get taken down this time by Cat, and they should be able to bust out through the forward hold here. But Whip, again with the pre-fire bomb on Temerain, getting that force out. Swayze hasn't used Uber yet. The bomb is in from Law, and that does force it.
Oh, they do have a couple of tagged players, though, in all the mix. It's going to come down to whether or not Shadow could get that medic kill, and he does find it. But in the overextension for that, he loses so many teammates, and is a medic worth down if you just piss off the rest of the blue players?
And Shadow, not long for this world, 3 players to fight off. There are some McVities players trying to instantly capitalize off this, and they do get the solar and the law frags, and they can pretty much recapture instantly.
Yeah, just blindsiding them. I mean, it's brave to think you can hold an entire map with just 3 players and no heals. But, you know, I'm not going to break down that detonation.
Whip is hiding in enemy lobby as well. They might walk right past this. He might just be gifted a medic as he walks out. Temerain's right in front of him, and it's the easiest ground rocket, so his life, he does get it in the end.
Oh my god, that looked bad for a second there. The worst kind of dodging is the dodging that nobody sees.
Yeah, and K's Good Cooking, they get the cap, but I don't think they're long for this world. The medic.
It's a simulation of the round before. They just need to cap it off, and it's just going to go against K's Cooking sort of ethos. If they just lose any frags now, it hurts so much more than McVities frags do.
Yeah, and just so much of a difference between having heals in this fight and not having them. Temerain can't even get here in time. Cat's trying to bomb the point.
He's surviving a decent amount of time, but they just kill his backup buddies, and that's one way to win the round, just knock the person off the point.
Yeah, that's the end of it, really, is that Whip play hiding in behind them and getting that good Temerain frag to finish it off. So yeah, that was
that was a good game.
A good game.
That was a good game. That was competitive. We had problems that were being solved by these teams, and it's not your traditional solvings of like high level where they're like thinking, oh, we're just going to change an execution or change these little slight deviations. Teams were going for blazing like, right, we're just not going to push with Uber anymore.
Yeah.
Just like those sorts of things, but they work because they're very binary, like, you know, on, off.
Yeah. If I had to recommend anything to K's Good Cooking, it's to learn about what Blob and Whip are doing to you in that lobby, both on the forward holds and on just flanking behind, getting the bombs, the hiding spots.
And as for like the aggressive points where they are actually winning, maybe what they want to achieve with that Uber charge, you know, what are the telltale signs of like, oh, the medic's out, we can get him easy.
I think the MVPs were probably the soldiers for Red Team for McVities.
I mean, credit to the scouts of K's Good Cooking. They felt more formidable when it came to just like, you know, inching out these points and whatnot. I like McVities' sort of, I guess, early on presence on the point though. It's almost like they inspired poor K's Cooking to like start doing it more.
Teaching them by playing against them mid-game.
Excellent game. Much better games than I've had a chance to partake in so far. So good job, boys.
Yeah, and I guess unless you have anything to say, we'll throw it to a break.
Yeah, we'll throw it to a quick break. We'll be continuing more with our round robin in just a second. I've been Turbo Times. With me has been Bum. We'll see you guys real soon.